Everybody, we're about to begin. If you're ready. Shh. Thank you all for coming. I must say it's a spectacularly gorgeous day. It's not too hot. It's beautiful out here under the tent. We're certainly out of the sun, so thank you for being here. This is a very special day for Doctors Hospital, for University of Maryland, and for Catholic Charities, for the Archdiocese of Washington. All of that goes together. On our stage today, I'll introduce him later a bit more, but I want to make sure you recognize Cardinal Donald Carter-Wuerl's here, Archbishop. Senator Doug Peters is here. Honorable Russell Baker, President Russell Lowe, Tim Adams, Mark Luckner, and of course Cap Mona. So I'll introduce them a little bit later on. But before I do that, we have some other special guests today. I want to make sure to introduce them if I can. And if I call your name, if you won't mind standing and stay standing, I'm just going to do them all. We'll clap together for about 20 people. So just listen to the people. This is the Hall of Fame right here. Okay, here we go. Our Auxiliary Bishop of Washington, Bishop Mario Dorsonville, Bishop Roy Campbell. Can you stand and stay standing? Okay. Our Catholic Charities Board of Directors. I saw a couple. I saw Robert Trone is here, our Vice Chair. I saw Kevin Verostek, Bishop Dorsonville. Anybody else for our board? Please rise. Thank you. From Congressman Steny Hoyer's office, Terrence Taylor and Betsy Bossart. They're here. Thank you. Great. From Governor Larry Hogan's office, Jennifer Gray, the Director of the Governor's Office of Interfaith Outreach. Thank you, Jennifer. From the County Executive, Rashawn Baker's office, Betty Hager-Francis and Calvin Hawkins. Representing District 26 of Prince George's County Council, delegates, there's three, Chris Valderrama, Tony Knotts, and Jay Walker. Thank you all. Thank you. Representing Charles County, Delegate Edith Patterson. Of the Prince George's County Police Department, Major Cedric Dickerson, Commander of District 5. From Doctors Community Hospital, Paul Granado and Jerry Dyer. University of Maryland School of Public Health, Dr. Boris Lesniak, the Dean, and two professors who are spearheading the creation of the Health and Wellness Center here, Dr. Stephen Thomas, Dr. Susan Passmore. Ms. Andrea Steele, the Chair and member of the Catholic Charities Prince George's County Task Force. Thank you. And not one of this would take place without one special person, our contractor, Nick Mona of Nick Mona Contractors. Thank you, Nick. So we have a very brief program. I will give you all a warning. It's brief if our speakers are brief. Now, I'm not going to say that to Cardinal Wuerl as my boss, but the rest of you all, I got a hook. Okay, so just keep it to very short. We want to have a great afternoon, but not a long afternoon. So give us your comments. Make it great if you can. We appreciate it very much. After the remarks of our speakers, Cardinal Wuerl and those on the stage will go into, well, actually, we'll cut the ribbon and go in to bless the Mona Center. And during that time, those would stay seated, if you would, out here, and I'll say a few words about what the center will do, and the Cardinal comes back with a final blessing and refreshments. Okay, so first of all, our first speaker, Mr. Mark Luckner, Director of Maryland Community Health Resource Commission, in gratitude for the significant gift to help with our dental clinic. Mark?
Good afternoon, everyone. I heard your instructions about being short, so I'll keep it less than 2 minutes, maybe in less than a minute. I'm Mark Luckner. I'm the staff to the Community Health Resource Commission. We're a state agency that was created in 2005 by a bill that was approved by the Health and Government Operations Committee and the Senate Finance Committee. And I was thinking about how I began today, which was going to a retirement party for a colleague of mine who drafted the bill that created the Community Health Resource Commission. Her name's Linda Starr for legislators. And I'm reminded that the same year that we worked on the bill, creating the commission in 2005, we also had the tragedy that occurred in this jurisdiction when Diamante Driver could not access dental care. And so expanding access to dental care at the Community Health Resource Commission is embedded in our very DNA. And so that's why we've awarded 36 grants. This is one of 36 $7 million, and those grants have collectively served over 40,000 Marylanders, most of whom are low-income children and families. So to stand here today, I feel like I'm in part of an SAT question where I'm the kid that doesn't belong on the stage with renowned folks like Senator Peters and others. And I just want to thank you again, Senator Peters, for your support of our budget, which has been beleaguered in your service on the Senate Budget and Tax Committee. If it wasn't for your support, Senator Peters, I probably wouldn't be here to say, and we wouldn't be here today, and we wouldn't be able to support this program, which will help countless residents of Prince George's County. So thank you, everyone, and I'm thrilled to be here and to celebrate a very remarkable day, and I'll be back in 6 months to monitor your progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. We welcome you back to see how we're doing, and we're happy to ask for more help when you come back. We'll assure you of that. Thank you very much. Cap Mona is our next speaker. Cap Mona, we would not be here without Cap Mona. This was a building, was used as a restaurant. Cap owned it. And because of his commitment to this community, not just here, but whole Prince George's County with scholarships, he has a center named after his son, Andy, at McNamara High School, a great friend of the Archdiocese, but the Mona Center is named after his wife, Susan D. Mona. Cap, please give us some remarks. Thank you.
Cardinal, thank you very much for accepting our most gracious offering 2 years ago. And first of all, I can't do anything on my own, okay? My mom told me that, my dad told me that, so I listened very well. And I always have been a team player since the 4th grade. I couldn't get on the football team because my big brother Joe and Mike, they were in the poundage range. I was just a little skinny guy. But my dad knew I wanted to be a team member, so he got me as the water boy. So that's my first thought in life, and it continues today. Team, team, team. So would the Mona family, the Mona Electric family, Sisters of Mercy, would you please stand? This is my team. Come on, everybody stand. Nick, Denison's, big brother Joe, Dwayne, my CEO, a couple grandchildren here. God bless you. Thank you very much. This is a momentous occasion. I hearken back to my early childhood in Washington, D.C., 6 blocks from the Capitol. Back then, it was not called Capitol Hill. There was 2 blocks, and that was Capitol Hill, and that's it. And I remember riding my bicycle around the Capitol, and there was hardly anybody at all that you would even think was a policeman. And today, you can hardly get up there. So things have changed a bit. But the upbringing I had on Capitol Hill with 4, 5, 6 family members on one street, and a grandmother and a mother who were so generous in helping everybody. The Cardinal mentioned something about, my team, my family, how we helped a little bit here and there. And I said, it's in the DNA. I can't change my DNA, no matter if I try. But our family, on my mom's side, Ann Selina Magruder, her family came to Maryland in the 1600s. There's a Magruder's Landing in southern Prince George's County, not too far from the county executive's office, Magruder's Landing. And my family tree harkens back to those days. We're so happy to have this Susan Denison Mona. We call it the Beacon of Hope Center. My son Scotty thought of that wording. And, it's a blessing from the good Lord that Sue was endowed with a heart of a mom, a wife, and a friend. I mean, she was friends to everybody. She just went out of her way to help people, compassionate. And we have the highest hopes that the Beacon will continue shining its light on this community center and helping folks of all ages and backgrounds, and the caregivers, and not only the recipients, but the caregivers. God bless them, and for the continual gracefulness and the touch and the enduring top quality of care that this facility will provide for this community. And just like a beacon of hope, that this center is in this uncertain world. Okay, I don't have to say much more than that. You know, Las Vegas. This is a certain place here. This beacon is certain. It's certain to help. It's certain to be kindred spirit, to care about folks. This is a certainty. This was only a dream, Monsignor, when we first met. I gave you a little key, because it was a little dream. Here's a big key. It's the big dream has come through. God bless you. God bless everybody.
It's Cap who made this happen. Cap, thank you. And we'll use the big key often to open the door. And I oftentimes say that one thing homeless people don't have is a key. You think about it, if you're on the streets, you don't have a key. And this is the key to lots of people here. Great, great thoughts, Cap, thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Tim Adams, a member of the Doctors Community Hospital Board of Directors. They are a real partner. You'll see inside, a real partner. There's a whole medical clinic inside. And at Mona and at Magnolia Center, we also have another collaboration here at Magnolia Center as well. Thank you, Tim, for all you do with doctors, and please give us your remarks. Thank you.
Greetings from Phil Downs and the entire Doctors Community Hospital. I'd like to take a quick moment and ask Paul Bernardo to stand again. Paul. For those who don't know, Paul has worked with Catholic Charities for many, many years. And we at the hospital and across the region, thank you so much for all you've done. As it was stated, I'm a member of the Doctors Community Hospital Board. But I'm also a patient. I have been at Doctors Community Hospital. And today I'm probably healthier than I've been in 20 years. So for me, I understand how important healthcare really is. And that's why as an organization, we are so excited to have had the opportunity to collaborate with two such wonderful organizations here within the county. Many in our community will be served, as they deserve to do, with the quality health care that everyone should be able to access. Having said that, I'm really excited about having been a part of Doctors Community Hospital, the board, but also being a part of this wonderful day. Thank you to Catholic Charities, and also a special thank you to you, particularly those who are the staff and the volunteers who really make Catholic Charities what it is. Personally, for me, it's very important. When my parents were having challenges with their health and their health began to fail, Catholic Charities stepped in for them and improved their quality of life. Not only did Catholic Charities help to improve their quality of life, but it also improved their strength and their faith. And so for that, I will always be indebted to Catholic Charities. And again, we at Doctors Hospital are so honored and privileged to be a part of this collaboration. Thank you.
Our next speaker is probably known to many of you here as President Wallace Lowe, the President of the University of Maryland. You probably know that about maybe a month ago, there was something called the Mission of Mercy. It was at the center over University of Maryland, the Xfinity Center. Floor was filled with dental chairs and dentists and hygienists, and of course, the President was there to welcome us all that day. So we're pleased to welcome him today to speak. The Mona Center here, the Mission of Mercy over at University of Maryland. These are great things, great partnerships. President, we're so happy to have you here to share your own comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsignor, and I'll be mindful of your what we should do, which is, in my case, to stand up to be seen, speak out to be heard, and sit down to be appreciated. This is an incredible privilege to be here for the opening of the Susan Denison Mona Center. And Cap, as you so well put it, that this is a beacon of hope. It's also a beacon of inspiration and a beacon of support to the most vulnerable people of our county. This would not be possible without a genuine partnership across the entire spectrum, from the church, the university, generous private donors like the Mona family, and so many of you who are here, and elected officials. Let me just briefly tell you this story because I've been in this position now for 7 years. And in the first month of my arrival, I got a call from the newly elected county executive of Prince George's County, Rashawn Baker. He invited me out to dinner together with his predecessor, Wayne Curry. And for the next, how long was that dinner? 3.5, 4 hours long.
We had Wayne there, so.
In Prince George's County. And he opened my eyes. He said, this is a great university, the state's flagship university, but this university should embrace the surrounding community. And then I thought, our mission is not just only about research when we are one of the great public research universities in the country. We are also a land-grant institution. What that means is that the intellectual assets, the educational assets of this university should be made available to serve the community. And that is why we are so privileged to join with you that our School of Public Health will have a second floor to do health and wellness, to provide counseling, together, of course, with the medical and the legal services on the first floor. I can only say this is a beacon of hope. This is the gospel put to life, put into practice, and the University of Maryland is very privileged to join you in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lowe. Go Terps. Go Terps. The next speaker is the Honorable Rashawn Baker, our county executive and gubernatorial candidate. We're so pleased to widen our services. It's been discussion we've had in his office a number of times in the past. Here's one of the great steps forward for this county between Catholic Charities and the county to say, let's provide service for those who might be most in need. You may know this is basically called a food desert and a medically depressed area. These are areas where people need services. Thanks to the county executive and all of you here, we're making this happen. Mr. Thank you for coming today.
I too, Monsignor, will be mindful of your admonition that we should not be long up here. But I can't help but say when I walked inside, it's a lot different when you gave me the tour originally. I think we had to watch where we stepped around there. I want to also thank a couple of folks too. I want to certainly thank Senator Peters for his work in Annapolis on this. I want to thank the chairman of our delegation, Jay Walker, for his work, and Tony Knotts and Chris Valderrama, because without them coming together and doing that, we wouldn't have the resources to do what we're doing here. I want to thank from our office, Betty Hager-Francis. If she could stand up one more time, let's give her a round of applause. Because there are a number of people in this administration who had great private sector jobs, and I convinced them public service was their calling. They wouldn't get paid much, but they'd have a lot of hard work, and she's one of those. Certainly, Cardinal Worrell, I'm just honored to be in your presence for all you're doing. We are so pleased to have you here in Prince George's County. And on behalf of the county, I want to just say thank you for all that you've done for us in Catholic Charities. Cap, I think you said it all. You had us all about to cry here, because this is what this is about. You know, this morning, the President Lowe and I were at College Park, opening up a brand new College Park Academy where our kids are going to learn languages and be world builders. And that vision of the university coming out of its four corners into the community to provide change started with his administration embracing Prince George's County, not just as a place where the university is, but as part of the community. And then to come down here in the southern part, where we're providing a multifaceted facility for healthcare and wellness and legal services. And the university, once again, getting out of its four corners, four buildings, and coming out of here. But also the faith community, and you in the community, the faith community coming out of the churches and into the community to provide what Christ said he wanted us to be, and that is more Christ-like. To come out of the building and into the places where people need it. That is what's happening here today. That is what makes Prince George's County special, that we get that. That is not simply about the nonprofits or the community doing it on its own, that we all come together. We couldn't be here without Mona Electric. We couldn't be here without you and the community and the business community. But because we all came together, because there were visions all around, we're here. Doctors Hospital is here. The university is here. The county is here. Hope is here. Thank you.
We asked Senator Mike Miller to be here today. He said he had a little surgery yesterday. He couldn't come. And he said, but I got somebody that can replace me who'll do a great job. That would be Senator Doug Peters. I've known the Majority Leader for a number of years myself in different meetings I've had with him over the years. The state of Maryland has been a real partner to Catholic Charities with some bond bills for this effort as well as other things as well. Doug, we're thrilled to have you here. Thanks for coming. God bless you.
Thank you, Monsignor. I hope those meetings counted as confessions. Anyway, if, the county executive said it perfectly. You know, we're all a team, and I would just like the 26 team to please stand up. If you guys could stand, Jay and Tony and Chris, we all work together in Annapolis. And it's not just me who put it in the budget. They put it in the budget. We protect the budget to make these kind of things happen, these public-private partnerships. Cap, you're a team. We're a team as well. It's just a really heartfelt position you've put the Catholic Charities in Maryland in and Doctors Hospital to help people who can't help themselves. It's really hard. I mean, we have a lot of indigent people here in this county, and for you to put money, your own private money, in something that's going to last, thank you so much to you and your family who stood up before. I also just want to say something briefly before the Cardinal comes up. We've met many times. We've had lunch together. And I don't know if you know this, but he's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Okay, so when he first met with me, he says, "Is this going to be a problem?" I'm like, "No, you're in Redskin country here." But I noticed that a couple of his staff members now have Pittsburgh Steelers stickers on their cars. So I asked him if that was a mortal sin, if we're not going to be Pittsburgh Steelers fans. But the truth is, I think he was in the Archdiocese of Pittsburgh, and he knew the Rooney family very well. And that's how he became a fan. So if we were in Anne Arundel, you'd be in trouble, Cardinal. But thank you for having me out. On behalf of President Miller and the Senate, this is a great project. I'm just honored to be here.
They've been great speeches, haven't they? They've been brief, they've been straight to the point, they've been very, very heartfelt. Well, I asked you and you did it, so thank you very much. The next speaker, he has no time limit. I'm not crazy. His Eminence, Donald Cardinal Wuerl, this is really part of his overall vision. This fits into what he wants to do for this diocese. You know, our diocese is Washington, D.C., but it's also Montgomery, Prince George's, Charles, Calvert, St. Mary's County. It's a big area. And I think at times, frankly, we've not been present enough in certain places. This will be one of them. More present those who comes. This is really the Cardinal's vision. It's the Cardinal's leadership. It's the Cardinal's dream that comes through today. So, Eminence, please share remarks with us and prepare to bless our building.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Senator, before I say anything else, before I go any further, I have to remind you that one of the great works of the church is conversion. And I felt it. I've also pointed out over and over and over again that the advantage of the Redskins and the Steelers, they belong to two different conferences. So I never have a strain on my allegiance to either. The distinguished guests, dear friends, brothers and sisters. First of all, before anything else, I want to say a word of thanks to Cap. We've been seeing each other a lot these days, and that's only because I keep going to these wonderful, wonderful programs that you've made possible, and buildings that you've made possible, and services that you've made possible. And I just need to say thank you. This building here is one more visible sign of what can happen when everybody comes together and says, we can make good things happen. This, in memory of Susan, and we were just at another event recently dedicating a building in honor of Andy. But what all of this says is it's also a recognition of your witness to this community, your witness to all of us, that when everybody comes together, all kinds of good things can happen. You know, it's the teaching of the church that we are supposed to care for one another. It was Jesus who said, whatever you do to the least of my brethren, you do it to me. And isn't that why we're all here? We recognize every one of us has an opportunity to be a part of something much bigger than just ourselves. And as everyone here has spoken, this is a work of collaboration. This is a huge and beautiful partnership. We have wonderful partners, the state of Maryland, and I thank you, Senator, thank you for being here to represent the state of Maryland. Thank you so very much. But we're also very much aware of the partnership with the University of Maryland. And Mr. President, thank you, thank you. Your presence here says visibly that this is a work of all of us. And to the county executive, thank you. Your inspiration and your guidance in all of this is essential, and we're just so grateful. When we talk about everybody coming together, we need also to recognize Doctors Community Hospital. Thank you for speaking up for them and making it so very clear that you're an integral part of this. And then Catholic Charities. And while he's the last one ever to allow this to happen, I think we need to recognize and thank Monsignor John Ensler for his service. And then when those doors are open, first we're going to have the blessing, then we're going to cut the ribbon, and then we're going to walk inside. And as you pointed out, it's a lot different than that first visit. Although when you're standing in what looks like an improbable future, it's reason for hope, isn't it? It's reason for the hope that we all have. What we're going to do, though, when we cut that ribbon, is open the doors for people who will come here for services that they won't find elsewhere. Thanks to you, everyone who comes here, everyone who walks into the Mona Center will find dental services, legal services, and eventually food and nutrition programs to support them and to support a much better and healthier life. And so as we come together, look around this tent and see what can happen when everybody says we can do good things together. When everybody simply recognizes, whatever you do to the least of my brethren, you do it to me. And when you do it to me, you also do it to one another. Thank you so very, very much for what you've accomplished. Thank you for being here as witnesses to an extraordinary testimony of the Mona family. And now let us proceed to the blessing of the building so that we can then cut the ribbon. And all those people waiting for their turn to use it down the road in days to come will know it's all there for them thanks to you. God bless you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Peace be with you.
And with your spirit.
John, you
Would you like to rise for reading the gospel? Please rise. My friends, may the Lord be with you. This is a reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus went around all of Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and curing every disease and illness among the people. His fame spread to all of Syria. They brought to him all who were sick with various diseases and racked with pain. Those who were possessed, lunatics, and paralytics, and he cured them. And great crowds from Galilee, Decapolis, Jerusalem, and Judea, beyond the Jordan, followed him. The gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. And now let us ask God's blessing on all those who will be served here, or who will devote themselves to caring for the sick and the disadvantaged, including the staff, the doctors, the dentists, the legal professionals, the nutritionists. And let us ask for God's divine blessing on this very center itself, erected for the care of those in need. Lord our God, through the power of the Holy Spirit, your Son healed our infirmities and diseases. When he sent forth his disciples to preach the gospel, he commanded them to care for their brothers and sisters in need. Grant that in the Catholic Charities Susan D. Mona Center, all those who care for others will receive with kindness all people seeking help, and will tend to them with skill and care, so that those who come here will leave restored in spirit and in body, and forever praise your mercy and love. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. Do I do this? All right. We're going to go over for the ribbon cutting.
Invite those on stage to
Hospital situation, he hurt his hip. And I'm limping around because I broke my ankle a few weeks ago. Oh, no. So he's putting me down because I broke my ankle. Of course, I didn't say a word, just like Monsignor said. I'm not saying a word against the boss here, so I just chuckled about his hip. Well, tell him at least, I'm not in the hospital now.
There you go.
Okay.
Are we ready?
We'll turn around and cut the ribbon.
You got us, Mike?
On the ribbon. Okay, are we ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3.